Lonina Tinakoto Katoa. Our topic is about whether Reserve Bank of New Zealand will change the OCR in the foreseeable future or not. Firstly, Yunjia will introduce the definitions and effects of OCR. Shahan will report the current trends. At the end of the video, I will explain and analyze the future trends to give a conclusion.
Tēnā koutou katoa, ko Zora aho. Explain the primary function of Reserve Bank of New Zealand. First, RBNZ manages and supervises the banking system. Second, it charges the registered banks. It also issues the notes and coins. It maintains stability of price level. The last thing is a policy target agreement between RBNZ and the government. To stabilize the economy, the monetary policy OCR takes an important role. OCR is called official cash rate. It's the wholesale interest rate which is charged by Reserve Bank of New Zealand to registered banks. It changed in OCR could balance in the inflation. RBNZ aims to keep the inflation rate between 1% to 3% during economic growth, or it makes GDP larger than it should be, and it will decrease the real value. Here's a chart shows when there's a change in the wholesale interest rate, the registered bank would also similarly change the retail interest rate. Usually, RBNZ will analyze the forecasting, then adjust the OCR in advance, because the effects takes time. For instance, when the inflation rate is lower and out of 1 to 3%, the Reserve Bank of New Zealand will decrease the OCR. Then the registered banks will also decrease the interest rate. In this situation, there will be less saving but more borrowing and consumption. When the consumption goes up, GDP goes up, aggregate demand shifts to the right, then the inflation rate goes up to 1 to 3%. On the other side, when the inflation rate is higher than 3%, Reserve Bank of New Zealand will increase the OCR to slow down the economy. Registered banks would also increase the interest rate. It causes more people saving and less spending. AD shifts to the left, and the inflation rate decreases, real GDP decreases. Moreover, OCR could affect New Zealand dollars exchange rate. How does this related to the economy? This graph shows the quantity and the exchange rate of New Zealand dollar. When the government decreases the OCR, more people borrowing and spending, it causes more demand for import. Then the supply of New Zealand dollar will increase. It shifts to the right. The quantity of New Zealand dollar will increase, and the exchange rate of New Zealand dollar will decrease. Because of depreciation in New Zealand dollar, overseas investor might decrease. The demand for New Zealand dollar will decrease. It shifts to the left. The exchange rate of New Zealand dollar will decrease and the quantity will also decrease. As we know, New Zealand's export is much greater than imports. If it's cheaper for overseas company to import New Zealand goods, the quantity of demand will increase. Therefore, the depreciating of New Zealand dollar is more likely to increase the surplus of overseas trading, which could cause aggregate demand shift to the right, and real GDP increases.
Norera, kina koto katoa. My name is Hannah. I will explain the trends in New Zealand inflation and the official cash rates in recent years. We found this chart from Trading Economics. It shows the inflation rate change from 2007 to 2018. Let's have a look with the official cash rate charts in the same period. In 2008, the world economy slowed down the economy. It has decreased exports of New Zealand. To save the economy, RBNZ decreased the official cash rate to stimulate consumption, and it maintained the inflation rate at nearly 2% at the beginning of 2010. In 2014, the inflation rate went down to almost 0% until 2016. Then it goes back to 2% in 2017 because RBNZ has experienced the OCR in this period, and the low inflation rate made them decrease official cash rates again, and until today, the official cash rate hasn't changed yet. Norera, kina koto katoa.
Well, thanks, Shahan. Let's back to the topic question. Here is the opinion of our New Zealand governor. According to Andrea, we expect to keep the OCR at this level through 2019 into 2020. Here's a 1-minute video of his interview.
Factors and business surveys continue to suggest growth will be soft in the near term. That's over the second half of this calendar year. Employment is around the maximum sustainable level. However, core consumer price inflation remains below our 2% target midpoint, and that necessitates us providing continued monetary support. GDP growth is expected to pick up over 2019, assisted by the monetary stimulus and population growth, underpinning household spending and business investment. Government spending on infrastructure and housing also supports this domestic demand. The level of the New Zealand dollar will also support export earnings. As capacity pressures continue to build, core consumer price inflation is expected to rise to the midpoint of our target range at 2%.
To conclude, we've explained how Reserve Bank of New Zealand use OCR as monetary policy. We also analyzed the current situation, and we think Reserve Bank of New Zealand will remain the OCR due to 3 reasons. First, one of the goals of Reserve Bank is to maintain the inflation rate between 1 to 3%. The current inflation rate is near 2%, which is acceptable. Second, the unemployment rate has been the lowest since 2013. There's no need to decrease OCR. If we keep decreasing the interest rate, there will be negative effects. The wage of laborers might increase. When cost increases, AS shifts left. Real GDP decreases. And third, there are other factors which could affect New Zealand inflation rate. The government investment on new houses and the growth of immigration are also increasing the inflation rate. In brief, if we decrease the OCR, the inflation rate might exceed 3%, which is a risk. Therefore, we think Reserve Bank of New Zealand will remain the OCR in the foreseeable future. Lonina, Tēnā koutou, katoa.